Okay, good morning, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of March 3rd. We'll do quick introductions and we'll jump right into it. In person, we have our CEO, Shane Ray.
Right.
In the background, I believe Dominic Lemoine, our assistant CEO, is there.
Good morning.
From council, we have Councillor Shane Pelletier, Councillor Joel Lemoine. We have online Councillor Janine Belanger.
Good morning.
Councillor Jason Bodnerchuk.
Good morning.
And myself, Chris Ewan. Good morning, everyone. We'll jump right into it so we can get the ball rolling. Item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Belanger, thank you. Anything before we open the meeting? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. I'll open the meeting at 9:01 a.m. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnerchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier. We are good with the agenda as is. Once 9:05 hits, we will go into delegations, but until then, we will just keep rolling with everything. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine. Minutes of February 18, 2026, regular council meeting. Council, any changes, edits, or discussion on that? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Item 5.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnerchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier. Go ahead, Mr. CEO.
So the batch summary has been uploaded, outlining some of the various items. If there's any questions or follow up on any items that are needed, please let me know.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. 5.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Again, those items are included in the batch summary. If you identify any items that you'd like follow up on, please let me know.
Thank you. Council, comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. 5.3, council indemnities. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you.
Indemnities are there for approval. Nothing really to note.
Thank you. Council, comments or questions?
I charged for committee of the whole last month. When I was going through it, I guess I put that in, so I'll need to reimburse next month on those 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Just like a swap of some sort. Okay. Anything else? Nothing. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. 5.4, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Staff payroll is there. If there's any questions, please let me know. Just the usual assorted. There's a few hours of bank overtime related to snow clearing items like that. So
Perfect. Thank you. Comments, questions from council?
If I can get a quarterly update on.
It's coming in March. Thank you.
Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We'll jump over to 8.1, bylaw 1, 2026 procedures bylaw, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnerchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
All right, just give me. So be it resolved that council gives second reading to bylaw 1-2026, being a bylaw to regulate the proceedings and conduct of the council and committees thereof.
Thank you. Council, open up for discussion. Anything to add?
Nothing here.
No. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. 8.2, bylaw 1, 2026 procedures bylaw, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, pardon me. Councillor Belanger, seconds. Last call, really. Any other final words on this? No. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. We can jump to, hold on, 8.3. Now we'll go into the delegations. 7.1, we have WSP for the twinning of PTH 59 and PTH 52 functional design study program. I will turn it over to whoever's leading this from the WSP side. Right before I do that, I think our CEO's gone over the specifics. So 15 minutes, and then after the 15 minutes, council will ask questions if they have any. So no longer than 20 minutes because we do have a tight schedule today. Take it away, WSP.
Thank you, no problem. Good morning, everybody. Megan Bowles here from WSP. Just sharing my presentation here. So thank you very much for having us today. We'll just do a quick round of introductions for the delegation, maybe in the order of Kara and Stacy, and then Raj, MTI folks.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kara Mress. I'm with WSP. I'm the project manager for this twinning functional design study. Stacy.
Good morning. My name is Stacy McBride. I am an assistant project manager for this project.
Over to Raj.
Hi, my name is Rajika Gunawardana. I'm the MTI project manager for this functional design study.
Is there anyone from MTI? I think.
Yeah, we have Sabrina and Seba. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, good morning. My name is Seba. I am the project coordinator with the project management branch, MTI.
And my name is Sabrina Broski. I am the liaison officer for the Eastern region.
Okay, thanks everybody. So the purpose of the study is to develop a functional design for twinning 59 from 52 to PR10 and 52 from 59 to Boresky Road. And we're also looking at the intersection of 59 and 52 as part of this study. So today's meeting is to provide you with information on the purpose and scope, develop an understanding of any future development plans in Reshow that should be considered, identify any potential impacts or constraints that we should be considering, and obviously offer you guys an opportunity to provide input and ask questions of our team. The study area map before you shows the study area in green, municipal boundaries in dashed black lines. And as you can see, although the majority of the study area is in Hanover, we do have portions in Reshow and a small portion in Taché on the east. And then lastly, some in the arm of de Salaberry as well. This is our project timeline as we expect it to unfold today. We have technical phases on the top and engagement on the bottom. And so right now we're really in the process of completing a background review, and we'll be developing the highway alternatives over the summer and into the winter of 2027. You guys are our first meeting for engagement in spring 2026. We're meeting with other municipalities throughout March. As well as we have some group stakeholder meetings towards the end of March as well. The next step for engagement would be to present and collect feedback on the alternatives in spring of 2027, so next year. And after that, we'll settle on a preferred alternative and have the final round of engagement in the fall of 2027. So this project will take around 2 years to complete, and the goal at the end is to have that functional design study. It's really our early phase of the design process where we identify the road right-of-way and roadway layout based on those projected travel patterns and demands. And these studies are informed by both sort of technical aspects and public input through the process. Just so council understands, we do have a full engagement program as part of this project. We'll be speaking with a variety of stakeholders, including all impacted municipalities, government agencies, as well as landowners and business owners, local interest groups, and the public. We're achieving this using a variety of tools, group and individual stakeholder meetings. We are just working on getting a webpage on MTI's site up. And we have open houses in phases 2 and 3 to focus on the general public. This initial phase is focused on stakeholder meetings as well as the project website. And of course, the feedback we receive as part of this engagement will be presented to the project team and considered in the study. Our time is short here today, so I have 2 slides here on just some of the existing conditions that we're looking at, and I won't go into them in too much detail, but we're confirming property boundaries, looking at land development information and plans, reviewing the location and type of existing accesses, doing a roadway condition assessment, looking at collision history and any current data on pedestrian and cycling facilities, as well as utilities and existing access permits in the areas. Land drainage is an important criteria as well. Engineering roadway design criteria, existing and projected traffic generation. We'll look at that over the next 20 years for the roadway so we can make sure it's designed properly, and looking at any existing safety concerns. Finally, consideration for school bus patterns, environmental and accessibility considerations, and we'll also be completing a geotechnical investigation. This slide lists the criteria that we'll be considering in the design, so it really sort of guides us in terms of what we're looking at overall once we develop different options and we're reviewing those options in subsequent phases of the project. So we're looking at engineering and transportation. So those are technical considerations like geometry and ease of construction and staging, for example. We consider community, social, and economic impacts. So what impacts are on different property owners and business and active transportation users. Obviously, cost is a factor, and so that's cost of construction, but then also if there is any additional road required, those land costs as well. And then finally, environmental impacts. So grouping issues sort of related to noise, habitat impact, and those sorts of things under that umbrella. So this is the same timeline as I showed earlier, but following the meetings planned for March with other municipalities and stakeholders, we'll finalize our review of those existing conditions and begin development of those alternatives, the highway alternatives. And then we'll be back to see you in the spring of next year to present and discuss the different alternatives. So we're at a very early stage right now. Just want to move into any questions that you have, or we have some questions for you guys as well. And yeah, that's the end of my presentation.
Thanks, Megan. Council, any questions, or staff?
Can I ask the question, once these studies are done, do you have any anticipated start timeline as when start and finish, when you figure the construction will be started and done?
Sure, maybe Raj, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, so basically from once the functional design is completed, we are hoping to move into detailed design phase, which should take about another year to a year and a half. So after that only we'll move into construction phase. So it should be about another, I would say about in total from today's timeline, at least 4 years out.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to add, though, the detailed design portion of the project will be contingent on if there's any kind of land acquisition needed and how smoothly that goes. So although we could be 4 years out, if we end up where we have an issue with purchasing land or acquiring land, that can delay the process for moving into construction.
Question here. I know our ward on the west side of 59. Do you foresee, and this might be too preliminary, but foresee having, like, are there homes or businesses in the way? Or is it just a matter of, chewing up a little bit of their acreage? And how does it work with the, I'll assume, 30 or whatever driveways that are presently just, off 59? Like, is there, I don't think there'll be service roads, but, you know, I wouldn't think that, you know, Manitoba Transportation would allow just driveways, all 30 of them or whatever, just to access directly onto the twin.
Yeah, so that's all part of what we're going to be looking at. It is a little bit early. We don't have any options started yet. So we don't know exactly what the impacts will be. There will, we cannot twin both roads within the existing right of way. So there will be some land impacts, but we don't know what they are yet because we haven't developed any options. So obviously we try to avoid buildings, businesses, homes where we can, but it's not always possible. Again, we'll be coming up with multiple options. So that'll be a consideration that we look at when we're developing options, but also when we're selecting the preferred. And then in terms of access, that is also something that we'll be looking at when we develop our options. So just a little too early in the process, but
Okay.
both of those things are major considerations for us.
Okay, thank you.
Will each of the homeowners or businesses along the highway be like directly notified, or will there be just sort of a generic notification sent out?
So Megan can add to this, but as she noted there, once we actually have some options, we do have separate landowner meetings for impacted landowners. So Megan, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, so typically when we have those options, we identify individual roll numbers and we'll reach out to administration to get mailing addresses for those individuals, and then we'll be inviting them to those meetings. Again, that happens in the next phase when we actually have those options defined so we can identify what those potential impacts are. We do have a stakeholder meeting sort of focused on businesses along 59 and 52 for later in March. We've identified those businesses really just sort of based on like a Google Maps sort of review of who's there. But if there's anybody in particular that you'd like to make sure we've included in those meetings, you can feel free to let me know.
Super, thanks.
Gary, you mentioned there isn't enough room in the current right of way. We were under the impression that there was, and it was just unfortunate that MI 150 years ago put the current highway right in the middle of that right of way.
Yeah, not everywhere. So it's something that we're going to look at. We need to consider standards like engineering standards and spacing, and there's a certain median width. So we're going to take a look at it. And again, as we noted, we have to come up with multiple options. So we're going to try and figure out a few different options and see what we can come up with. Minimizing property impacts is a key consideration. So we'll see what we can do, but it's not possible everywhere within the study area.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a few questions for council as well. Are there any planned sort of municipal infrastructure upgrades within the study area that we should be aware of sort of throughout the course of the study or potential construction of this project over the next several years?
Nothing that I can speak to now, but I'll have Mike Demane, our Public Works Manager, follow up as well.
Okay. And any existing or upcoming plans for development? I know council often has delegations for certain interested developers, or you guys are more aware of what either subdivisions or rezonings or conditional uses have been before you or approved in the area.
I think we're safe there, Megan, in that chunk that belongs to us.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not really any plans to develop south at this point in time.
Yeah.
Things happening north, so.
Yeah, okay. Are there any active transportation sort of connections that the municipality has in that area or to that area that we should be aware of?
No, nothing right now, but that was going to be one of my questions, or sort of question, like you've indicated or talked about sort of those cycling and stuff like that. If you know that highway, nobody in their right mind would ride a bike on it now. So if you looked at numbers, it would be zero. Would there be any thought in the new construction to actually provide some type of a pathway?
No, I don't. I mean, yeah, go ahead, Kara.
So I was gonna say that typically MTI doesn't construct active transportation. They leave that to the local municipalities, but they will facilitate. They don't want to limit, provide a barrier. So sometimes they'll facilitate crossings and things like that in cases where there is a desire line to maybe cross the highway. So I don't think there wouldn't be any plans to have like a pathway along either of the roadways. But if there was a known crossing location, it's something that I think we would look at as part of the study. Raj, I don't know if you want to add to that.
No, I guess you said it there, Kara. So that's our mandate anyway. So at this point of time.
Yeah. So if there is like a known, you think, kind of desire line where people want to travel between communities or something, or to a certain destination, and they're crossing 59 or 52 somewhere, if you know that, you can let us know, and it's something that we can factor in to the study.
I think the only thing I can think of right now would be the snowman trail in the ditch.
On the west side?
Both.
Oh, okay.
They run northbound traffic on the east side and then southbound on the west side.
Okay. I think Snowman is on our stakeholder list for one of our meetings at the end of the month too. So. And then, Kara, there were some technical items that we requested, I think, of different municipalities. I can't recall if we've received anything from Risha. Maybe that's something we can follow up with their public works person as well.
Yeah, I think we were just looking for some information on any utilities that you guys have in the study area that we should be aware of. There were a couple of the other items maybe on that.
Yeah, Public Works will get back to you on that one, Kara. There'll be a water main crossing. And then at some point there will be some wastewater crossing as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. I think that was it from us. Kara, do you have any other questions from the technical team?
No, I think that's it for now. If there's any, if you think of anything after, I know we're just presenting this, so if you go away and think about any additional information that you think we should have, that would be good for us to know as we're moving forward and starting to develop those options. Feel free to reach out to Megan and pass along any relevant information, and we'll definitely consider it. Or if you have any questions after the meeting as well.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Megan.
I was just going to say, feel free, like sometimes sort of the public gets, wind of things. If you get any questions, like feel free to send them to me and we can direct them to the proper information as well.
Okay, thank you for that. And then back to your team as well. If you've got anything that comes up that you're wanting answered from our end, let us know. 59 is a little weird in that section because there's 4 municipalities in 3 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll make it as easy as possible for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Raj, any final comments from MTI?
I would like to thank the council for giving us the opportunity to have this phase 1 engagement. And yeah, as Megan mentioned, please feel free to reach out if you have any question or concerns regarding the study.
Will do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you.
Right. Bye.
All right, I think his worship got sidetracked with the people running around his house right now. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. I'm babysitting. We will we'll turn it over to the delegation with the RCMP right away. So that's where are we here? 7.1.1. Take it away.
Okay, good morning. Thanks for having me. And sorry if I stepped into a meeting I wasn't supposed to be at, but I did. So it's ironic. I was approached by one of the other councils on this exact topic for letter of support and so on. So I'm a bit aware of what's been happening, but nice to see that they're actually talking. So for myself, just an update on our priorities. I'll give you a full update probably next reporting period, but just I find myself probably a little bit below where I thought I'd be at this point in regards to our school visits, number of alcohol related offenses that we've got, and our high risk offender checks. So at the end of actual third quarter, which was the 31st of December, I put in a plan to pick that up a little bit, added a little bit of expectations to our members. So I'm hoping quarter 4 actually treats me a little bit better, and I should have hopefully a more positive result. I just don't find we're meeting the targets for third quarter so far. So hopefully by the end of fourth quarter, have a little bit better result. Statistics wise, I had Laurent send out an updated report. We found an error on one of the categories. Nothing major, but I'll speak to it in a bit here. A couple of things caught my eye was the collisions. You saw a bit of an increase in St. Adolphe and a decrease in west of the Red River. The St. Adolphe one caught my mind with the amount of construction that's on Main Street. And just wondering if you guys have seen or heard that that's been causing a little bit of traffic difficulty. I have not heard it, but I saw the numbers, and it's the only thing I could put my finger on. Anything come up from the resident or no?
There's just a lot more traffic at the corner of sorry, I'm having a quick brain gap here. 200 and 210 there because of the
Okay.
St. Mary's closure.
Okay.
So there might be some stuff. I haven't heard a ton. I've just heard a lot of people saying that, yeah, there's a big influx of traffic there. I know we've had a couple of really bad storm days too.
Right.
With some highway issues with 75 and such, but nothing that really pops in mind. But there definitely has been a pretty significant increase in traffic at that corner.
Okay, fair enough. In my times that I go through St. Adolphe, I see the orange signs everywhere, and I just wondered if maybe that was having a factor. Okay. On our traffic enforcement, which is one of the highlights of my report, actually, I've spoken previously on what our traffic services does for us that most people don't realize. Well, I now have numbers to show you. So when you look at just our general duty, the reports you saw, we saw a decrease in the number of reported and charged in the RM and Ile-des-Chênes, an increase in St. Adolphe. Now, sometimes I wonder if that relates to the collisions as well. We see an increase there, sometimes increased tickets. So the numbers are down overall. But when I add my traffic services, we've got an increase of 57% over what we did last year. So general duty, we dropped a fair bit, but our traffic services has really picked up the slack, and they've actually increased the number of traffic enforcement in the area. We don't see it probably a lot. I don't know if you hear of it from the community where the ghost cars are and the unmarked are running through town, but that would be our traffic services people. So they've been doing very well for us. On the provincial stats side, you saw a decrease in the RM, Saint Agathe, and Ile-des-Chênes. One trend that I did see that I found interesting, there's a residence in Saint Adolphe that has seen an increase in calls for service, and it's all related to a separation, a divorce, and child custody issues. They were responsible for 7 calls for service, that residence alone. So there is a situation that's developed in Saint Adolphe there that hopefully through time will kind of settle itself. But that's one of the trends we saw. We keep going back to this one address. So, the other criminal code stuff, you saw an increase in Saint Adolphe and Saint Agathe. In Saint Adolphe, it was pretty well causing disturbances. And in Saint Agathe, it was failing to comply with conditions. No relation between the two. Persons crimes went up in the RM and Saint Agathe. Ironically, it's all threats and assaults and harassments. One of the cases actually that I noticed, there was 3 counts of assaulting a police officer. So when you look at the assaults portion, it wasn't just civilians assaulting civilians. Our police officers were actually getting assaulted as well. So, and the last one I saw was property crime. Decreases across the board, the RM, Saint Adolphe, Ile-des-Chênes, and Grand Point. Thefts, mischiefs, and B&Es in the RM. Saint Adolphe was B&Es, yet you saw a decrease overall, a drop in B&Es, but you saw an increase in thefts. So the decrease was greater than the increase, but you're still seeing a bit of an uptick in thefts there. The same thing in Grand Point, as your thefts, oh, sorry, just the opposite. Your thefts decreased, but your B&Es went up. So the decrease was greater than the increase. And in Ile-des-Chênes, your thefts went down. Any questions on the statistics at all? Okay. My human resource update. I'll make it short because basically what we're seeing is 4 constables going out and 2 constables coming in between now and probably beginning of summer. I have 1 corporal going out in April, and that'll be a promotion. There was no lateral available for us to come in. And so they'll be promoting. The promotion process is already in place. We're just waiting to hear who the selected candidate will be. So lots of movement in and out. Give us 4 or 5 months and the dust will have settled. I think we're going to, right now, we're going to be 1 vacancy at that point. So our numbers aren't bad overall. So it's just there's lots of movement happening. So and if there's no questions, I just had 1 question for council.
I've got one, Mr. Poirier. Is it possible to get the stats from your traffic team?
Let me see. Numbers wise, just for knowledge, I can give them to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at the number of reported files, I'll say GD, which is our office here, general duty. We dealt with 71 files. Traffic services dealt with 84 on top of that. We wrote 37 tickets. They wrote 86. We wrote 4 warnings. They wrote 1. So the one that stands out to me is the number of tickets. And that's where your 57% increase is seen, is they more than doubled what our general duty guys did in the Armor Bishop. So just to give you an idea, when I say that they're a big component of our road safety piece, the numbers just speak for themselves.
Thank you.
I know thank you. I've been in contact because now they're stationed out of Steinbach, and I wanted to make sure we weren't going to lose the individual that was working from St. Pierre previously. And I haven't seen any of that, and our conversation's been good. So they're still hanging around and not focusing on Steinbach. They're still here quite a bit. So hopefully the numbers continue going that way. Anything else?
I just want to reiterate, like I do every time, about Waverley Road around the cricket around, what's that park called?
LeBarrier Park?
LeBarrier Park, yes, just
Yeah.
to ensure there is some presence there. Still.
Okay. Yeah, I know we talk about it every time. It's
Yeah.
it's a challenging area for us just because of geography. I'm not sure I have an answer at this point, aside from let's keep the communication going. If you keep it in my brain, I can keep talking about it locally here, about
Okay.
what do we need to do there, and trying to assess how big the problem is.
Yeah.
Because if we get 3 people always making the same complaint, it's going to seem like a big problem, but it's really only a problem for those 3 people.
Yeah, I hear you.
I kind of need to see what's really the issue. The times I've been up there, pretty quiet. So if it's a hit and miss process, I'm probably not going to be able to solve the problem. If there's if we can determine the trend that's happening, is it Thursdays or anything like that, that'd be a bit helpful for us.
Okay, I will get that information and forward it to your office. That'd be great.
Okay. I know we do get complaints out there, and I encourage the people to keep doing that. It helps me build a bit of a reference as to what am I really dealing with. But let's keep a conversation going for that.
Super, thanks.
My question had to do with the CSO program and where the RM is at with that.
We've narrowed it down to our final 2 candidates. We hope to make an offer potentially before the end of this week and have somebody in place for the start of April. So we're almost there.
Perfect. Great to hear. I've actually been selling your process to some of the other RMs as well. So I don't know if they've reached out at all. I've given Shane's name, some of the other CAOs to say, look, there's a good process happening in Rishot, and I think there's interest. So if you hear from some of the other RMs, that's I'd like to see the program expand elsewhere as well. So good on you guys for making that happen. Okay, if there's anything I can do to help or you need something with that, let me know. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much. If there's any questions, just call.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too. Bye now.
Okay, we will go back to 8.3, Bylaw 2, 2026, Organizational Bylaw, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Bondarchuk, thank you.
Sorry. Be resolved that council gives second reading to bylaw 2-2026, being a bylaw to govern the organization of the rural municipality of Rishot and the committees thereof.
Perfect. Council, open up for discussion. Anything to add?
Nothing here.
No. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. 8.3.1, Bylaw 2, 2026, Organizational Bylaw, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier, thank you. Final call. Nothing to add. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. 8.4, Bylaw 3, 2026, Tax Levy, first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Pelletier.
So this is the first reading of the tax levy bylaw. So be it resolved that council gives first reading to bylaw 3-2026, being a bylaw to levy taxes for the year 2026. Are there any questions at this point in time?
Anything from council?
Mohammed included his notes in there as well. Just a notation that we haven't received the rates from the school divisions as of yet. So once we have those, then we'll be able to bring forward the second and third reading.
Perfect. Anything from council? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Moving on to 9.1.1, PR 210 corridor MOU. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Belanger.
So SEDEM has coordinated a group along the 210 corridor, a number of municipalities and communities, just to work together on shared interests. This is to support the signing of the MOU regarding that. Our EDO is attending those meetings on a regular basis.
Perfect. Anything from council? Seeing none, a call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. 9.1.2 Mid-Canada GFL disbursement of funds. Do I have a mover?
We need to table that item. We don't
Sorry.
have
Yes, sorry.
From
That's
GFL
tabled.
at this point in time.
Perfect. So that brings us to adjournment. Item 12. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine. Anything before we close the meeting? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. I'll close the meeting at 9:41 a.m. Have a good day, everyone, and we'll see you next